Grave Reviews, this is Chris.
Have you trapped the children?
There's no children here. It's not safe for them.
This is Alan, and Chris is right. Grave Reviews is intended for mature audiences. Your discretion is advised. Grave Reviews presents Thursday Night Frights.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thursday Night Frights. My name is Alan, and I am proud to say I have right next to me my co-host, good friend, Chris. How are you doing this week, Chris?
Good evening. Good evening. Doing all right. Doing all right.
I have heard that you had a really fun weekend. What was you up to?
Yeah, went Saturday, was the Philly Fan Expo. Went on all weekend and went down with the Brady Big Lovin' from the Skate Pod, the wonderful LG, and my youngest, and we went down and tried to get it fit in as much as we could. Basically, buy a lot of artwork. Got a nice picture with some Walking Dead members there with Michael Cudlitz and Shaniqua and Martin Green. Great people, great picture. It was fun. Unfortunately, could not say hi to John Carpenter for you.
I
really wanted to sneak in there, but it was like so packed and it was a little expensive.
I told my wife, I said, here's what I really hope. I hope they just walk by his, the table just close enough that he can go, "Hey, John, Alan said hi," and don't say another word as you walk off.
Absolutely. I was hoping, but man, they had that thing like roped off. Like you couldn't see them come in or out, or
I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, the autograph sessions, I guess, were pretty cool. We didn't stick around too much for that. We just had fun. A lot of nerd stuff, dressed up with some stormtrooper helmets, walking around with we were pop culture troopers. So I had my buddy Sam, who's not in the back anymore. He was in my bag. I had some horror items in mind that I was looking for. So yeah, some nice artwork, and it was a good time.
Excellent.
Way to get out. Yeah.
Excellent. Looks like we have Don't Care Bear in the in the chat room tonight. I believe that may be a first, Chris.
I believe so. Hit the buttons.
Gabba gabba, we accept you, one of us. Gabba gabba, we accept you, one of us.
If you are here for the first time, we do accept you just simply by being here. You are a member of our Talking Dead. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much. Let us know what you think about the movie that we're talking about tonight. What movie are we talking about tonight, Chris?
We are talking some classic Hammer time with the Twins of Evil.
As the line in the movie was, "The devil has brought me, or Satan has brought me twins of evil." Evil. It was delivered by Peter Cushing as no one else.
Great line. Great line.
Wonderfully beautiful.
It's a not really well-known line that Grand Moff Tarkin utters, right before he takes out Alderaan or something.
I literally went, "Hey, he said the thing."
Exactly. That's back in the day where like every movie said the title in it, so you're like, "Ha, that's it."
So before we jump into this, I want to explain to those of you who are in the chat room with us tonight, or those of you who are listening via X or Twitch, why I picked this particular movie. I am a fan of Hammer horror. Really, Hammer was just like I had talked about a few times. My aunt bringing me in to this. My brother introduced me to Hammer through, of course, the one and only Christopher Lee's Dracula.
Yes.
And I was so taken back by the gothic horror, the elements of the castles and all that went along with that, and how wonderfully beautiful Hammer films are shot. I mean, on a surprising budget.
They're great with the shock kind of visceral horror of the 50s, 60s, 70s, where you got the blood, you got the gore. That they got you with the shock, and then they slipped in some little innuendos there. We're kind of coming through the sexploitation time of horror movies where everybody gets a half a star because there's boobs everywhere.
Yeah, and it's funny because Hammer actually, when Hammer first released, I believe it was um, ignore the name. I signed in with the wrong email, so I threw a new name on. I love it. That's funny. That's okay. We'll still accept you as you are.
Absolutely.
The when Hammer first was released, Dracula in the U.S. That was the first time they saw blood and color, and was like, now we know, was blood and color, and therefore it actually, they almost got X ratings on their stuff, right? You know,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
non
censors hated Hammer because they were
and
constantly pushing the limits of everything they could do.
if you watch them, you know where movies like Lost Boys got their idea to put glitter in the blood and stuff, because Hammer's you know, everything was so bright. It was
Yeah.
but it was also so beautifully filmed.
Yeah.
So beautifully filmed.
This this entire movie, you could take snapshots from easily.
Easy.
Very beautiful, very
Mhm.
crisp, very clear. The bringing it to our standards of viewing today, anyway. Very crisp, very clear, very beautiful pictures. The
Mhm.
Karnstein Castle always in the background. The squiggly animated lightning coming down. It's just great horror from being
It's
a kid.
wonderful, and because of, my love for Christopher Lee's Dracula, that made me want to search out as much of the Hammer horror as I
Mhm.
could, and this was one of those that I saw early on. And again, this is the era for Hammer where they were really starting to get into the sexploitation part of it. It's funny, we watch this now and we think, sexploitation where,
Exploitation.
right?
He showed
You know,
3 boobs for crying out loud.
yeah, could have got by with some of the stuff on late night cable. But it's just, for me, again, being my birthday week, my choice, I was just like, I want to share something from my childhood that I loved. And you know
Yeah.
what? And was it the same as the first time I saw it? No, but did I still absolutely love every second of it? You betcha.
Yeah.
So it's been a while
It's been a
since.
few, many moons since I've seen this last,
Yes,
for sure.
no doubt. And so, had you seen this movie before this week, Chris?
Yeah, this is one of the classic Hammer films. I mean, being a kid, you knew about, especially the 60s, the 70s, where you get a decent horror movie,
Yep.
you get a little nudity.
Yep.
So for the growing boys, this was one of those movies that was. It's great. It's a fun kind of vampire movie. You have, of course, the good guys. There's always a bad guy, good guy, and a bad guy.
Uh-huh.
And somewhere, and everybody's kind of caught in the middle. And this is a
And this,
classic version of that. This is
absolutely, this is even your good guy is a bad guy. As a matter of fact, your good guy in this one, good guy in this one, is probably worse than your bad guy.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you had mentioned it pre-stream here that his name was Vile.
for a reason. So,
This guy was
so
terrible. He was a
I
terrible person.
early on, and when we were doing this, I had toyed around a few times with writing a tongue-in-cheek synopsis.
Yeah.
If you don't, I wrote one for this one.
Oh, good.
Hopefully,
It's been a
hopefully,
minute.
hopefully it comes across. Okay, so 1971, Twins of Evil, a puritanical vampire witch hunter, Gustav Vile, played by Peter Cushing, who's rocking Puritan garb that's so stern it could probably scare the pants off Satan himself, faces his toughest challenge yet, keeping his twin nieces, Maria and Frieda, from turning a sleepy 19th century village into a blood-sucking rave, aka Blade rave scene. Anyway, these
Right.
identical twin bombshells, played by real life twins and playmates Mary and Madeleine Collinson, couldn't be more different from each other. Maria's sweet as a hymn book, while Frieda's got a rebellious streak that screams, "I'd rather date a vampire than knit another doily." When the girls
Right.
arrive from Venice to live at Gustav's very pious household, they're thrust into a world of witch burnings, creepy castles, and suspiciously charming Count Hussein,
Stein.
who's a less noble aristocrat and more undead party animal with a neck fetish. Frieda's bored of Gustav's fire and brimstone sermons and his fire and brimstone late night activities, sneaks off to join the Count and his fantastic nightlife, trading her corset for a coffin. Meanwhile, Maria's busy batting her eyelashes at the hunky school teacher, oblivious of the fact that her sister's new diet includes, well, the villagers.
Right.
And as bodies pile up, Gustav's witch burning posse gets a little twitchy as the identical twins spark a game of mistaken identities. While Gustav stakes the right sister, or will he accidentally barbecue the good one? This is packed with campy gore, cheeky innuendos, and enough velvet drapes and Puritan collars to outfit a Renaissance fair. Everybody, Twins of Evil is a devilishly fun romp where the only thing scarier than the vampires is Gustav's church and his parenting skills.
Very good. That covers a lot of what we give in this movie.
Yes.
This is we start off. We cast the first ever twin playmates. Good call on Hammer
Yes.
to bring them in, and
Quite beautiful ladies, and surprisingly good actors at this
it
point.
was pretty wild. I was today years old to find out that they didn't. The voices you hear in the movie are not her voices. They are British actresses dubbing over because of a heavy Maltese accent. So that was I was like, oh, it doesn't even what they sound like. Okay.
And me seeing this movie as a child and being very taken with them the first time I saw as a child, young teenage, teenage boy, I was like, oh, well, I wonder what they sound like.
No, they seem nice. I do like the fact that we've got the two of them that show up, and their aunt is trying to hurry them off to basically cover your boobs, girls. Uncle's coming home, and he ain't gonna have this. He has a nighttime fetish of finding women like, well, you, and setting them ablaze.
Yes, and roasting hot dogs.
Right. He doesn't have a husband and has no idea and has no desire for a husband. She's a witch, burn her.
Burn her. Oh my God, we literally have our first witch burning within 20 seconds of the opening of the movie.
Just running a woman down.
And then as she's burning, Peter Cushing turns towards the camera, lifts his hands up, and says, "Oh Lord, we beseech thee on this thine holy day."
Yes.
Oh my God, it was like, this is so beautiful.
Please so bless us for the barbecue we are about to enjoy.
Yeah. Bless, Lord, we played that you bless this. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was. I mean,
this is where it was good though, because coming back at this, there's just, I mean, immediately my mind goes to Monty Python, where it was like, she's a witch, burn her. Well, how do we know she's a witch? she turned me into a newt. I got better.
you know, when he's in the church with the rest of the as they call them, the brotherhood,
yes.
and he talks, he says, and we must cleanse them by burning her. It just really, so Peter Cushing, right before he signed on to do this film, his wife passed away, and he was just totally went into a state of depression, and it was a really, really bad time for him, and he decided to take this film as a outlet for his anger. And I tell you what, Peter Cushing is, I mean, I don't care what anyone says about the cheesy Hammer films and this and that. That man could act.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
he commanded the screen, and he chewed up every scene that he was in. And he took that anger that he had over losing his wife and poured it into this role. And I'm telling you right now, you could feel the angst and anger and evil, all the stuff that he was meant to be just rolled off of him during this movie.
Oh yeah. Yep. And he's not the only one that this was kind of like a comeback film. Dennis Price as well. A very well-known actor, had basically had been drinking himself into an oblivion and had fallen off, and this movie helped kind of revive his career a little bit more. to finish out his life in film.
Yep.
And so this kind of brought him back into it as well. So great choices on the actors. This is very theatrical. These are the theatrical movies where they're just a half a second away from nope, stop singing. No singing. I just want to go into a song, Father.
At any point in time, I'm expecting him to go. So, what you're saying to me is, I'm to stay here.
Right. So we stay here, and if he leaves, we go with him.
and literally at any point in time, you would think to yourself, okay, this is an ensemble cast who is they're emoting to the back row, right?
Right.
It feels
Right.
like a stage production.
Absolutely.
Film, and it works for some reason. I don't understand why. Most of Hammer's films are like that. Hammer's films are like that, and it does. I don't know why it works so well. I'm telling you, for a movie that was made and released in 1971. This movie's great.
It's so good. I mean, even making fun of it is just, because of the way they touch on these subjects through them. It's just several of them that you go through. The witches, especially, because this brotherhood is just riding through the forest at night, just finding women. Now, first of all, what forests are you going to that there's women running through all the time? I mean, listen, if you're worried about being burned as a witch and you're not a witch, don't choose to run through the forest in the middle of the night in Puritanville. That would be a good.
You know that people are getting burnt at the stake,
right? They're like, "Oh man, Sarah got it last night. She was just running around like because she was, she was crazy."
I need mushrooms. I'm making it
right. Right. You have no idea. My husband will beat me if I don't get the roast. Aha! You don't have a husband.
That means she's a witch.
So you have. It's funny
like the rocks.
These two sisters showing up, and of course, the uncle Gustav comes in, before they get changed, and he's just like, what is this plumage?
The plumage. I love that line too. I was like, oh, right. That's a freaking line, man. That's
nice way to say that, and he calls him out for it, and of course, Frieda gets sick of it right away, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna give Satan a try. He's not that bad, because she's building up to her sister like, I'm gonna go hang out with the count. He was looking at me, so I'm gonna sneak to the castle in the middle of the day night. Because this is the time we don't film at night. We just put a filter over the top of it. So the sun shining through the trees is really just moonlight.
I was going to point that out. So if you decide to watch this, Don't Care Bear, which you can actually watch this on YouTube for free as well. It'll be really dark. And then they'll be in the woods and you'll see the light coming through because they're at a point in time where they don't have, they don't have the technology to film correctly at night.
Right.
It's just the blue filter or the blue light.
The lighting. Everybody casts a shadow
with a grain of salt that, okay, it's still, because if not, you'll be going, okay, is it day, night, day?
Yeah, and Hammer does a great thing with their vampires here. Don't follow the typical lore. They're daywalkers. And fire doesn't kill them either. If it burns them up, their soul can either, get the body back or just go possess somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so it's a little different on the vampiric law on this one. So, when you see them walking around where, the Count walking around during the day, yeah, he's still a vampire, and you can't see him in the mirror. So that's,
and I love the fact that he even spells it out for you. In our movie, basically, as he's announcing to the back row, in our movie, you can, you can chuck a piece of wood through the heart, or you can decapitate me. Other than that, I will live forever. Which is the selling point that he uses to allow Frieda to be turned. And I also like the fact that another piece of lore, I don't know if you caught this or not, but he said, if you are of a good soul, the vampire's bite will kill you.
Right.
If you're not, it will turn you to be like, you can be with me. So if he would have bitten Maria, she would have died.
Right.
Because he bit Frieda.
That's how they get around that whole, vampires bite. There isn't you bite, you're getting bit, and then you got to drink his blood. This is basically, if you're bit, if you're no good, well, cool. Now you exist in hell,
Yes,
and you are undead on this plane. And it's very strange how they set this whole thing up.
it is.
And poor Maria stays home and is not going to give up on the secrets. So what she do? She pretends that she's Frida to say that Maria left, so that way when Maria gets back, she could be Maria, and she's over there like, Frida, I'm getting beat in the morning, I'm getting beat at night. Like this,
Yeah.
can't you step in? And she's like, you say something, I'll kill you.
Which she's going to, and I tell you what else I really liked is, when they talked about the vampire, the burning, not killing them, right? It was,
Mhm.
and they could, then that's how we see our first vampire transformation, is because the spilled blood of an innocent goes into a tomb of an old vampire. None of this is explained. You just have to kind of put it together,
Yeah,
right?
you see kind of like the blood rolls off of what was, I guess, an altar, but really the top of a grave, and it goes down and it starts pouring on a mummy, or at least somebody in wrappings, and then she becomes ethereal, gets through, then becomes real, and then it's Merkala, the because this is part of a trilogy of the Karnstein trilogy. This is Merkala, Carmilla. Uh, it's basically a family of undead. However, this is the first time that the undead was living and heterosexual.
Yeah. So Hammer they wanted to make their own universal, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to linchpin on three monsters. Now, to where the linchpin for Universal was Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolf, with some other monsters thrown in. Their linchpin was going to be Frankenstein, Dracula, and Camilla. Camilla was,
Mhm.
for those of you who don't know, Camilla was actually the first modern literary vampire, about 25 or so years
Yeah,
before
before Bram Stoker. Yep.
Dracula. So Hammer really, really tried to get a female vampire movie off the ground, and they did it by having female vampires in vampire movies,
Mhm.
and then leading first, and then leading one, which was actually, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Lust of a Vampire, I believe.
Yeah, it was the Vampire Lovers, and then the Lust of the Vampire.
It's really a good film,
Yeah.
a really good film, but it just didn't take off.
Right.
So the so this in this movie, the first vampire we see that's basically brought back to life, like you said, it's an anagram of Camilo, because it's backwards and whatever else.
Right.
But she's still she still makes out with her great.
Yeah, it's right away. You're like, he's the Karnstein family, and that's the Karnstein tomb, and she came back to life. And
Oh,
wait a minute, is
yeah,
that how he gets turned? Oh, no, she bites him. Okay, all right.
yeah. Because at first we were all like,
Ooh,
I'm thinking, okay, this is an interesting way, a way to turn a vampire. Okay, whatever.
right, all right. Let's see how let's let
So
this play out. You know,
how the blood goes, it's funny, is the satanic ritual that you see in the movie, which is a really convincing, beautifully done ritual, is actually fake. And the guy that they're doing it for calls them out for being fake, and he's like, "You're a bunch of actors. You're posers. Get out." You
right?
know.
Damn it, Dietrich!
Yeah. Damn it, Dietrich. Get your men and get out of here.
You're
Uh,
right.
so he decides that he's going to hail Satan, stabby, sticky, stabby.
Right, yeah. He pokey, stabby that poor little girl, and that's like,
Yeah.
oh, please no. And he's like,
Yeah. And so then the blood runs through, as we said, through the tomb. She's resurrected, but it's not the body that resurrects, her spirit
right,
resurrects. And
right.
she takes over the girl that just went sticky, stabby. And then you get the big reveal in the mirror. Pretty well done.
Nice, nice. Yeah, the mirror, aka the hole in the wall. But either
Or
way,
they do
very cool.
okay, so here's how this trick is done, and it's really a cool trick. They
Mhm.
have the mirror on an angle just slightly enough that when you're looking in it, it looks straight, but it's actually reflecting what's to the left of the actor.
And in all actuality, in this movie, there was no mirror.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it was a hole in the wall. They just put a candle on a complete opposite side of the set on
Yep.
the other side of the hole.
I
Hey, that
love
works, man.
It looked great.
It did. You see him, he gets bitten. I do like the fact that he's like, get these charlatans out of here. I could call Satan myself. And he's like, of course, Satan needs his dues. They were doing it with like chicken blood. And no, you got to do it with real virgin blood. And then he's, angrily staring into the fire with his drink while his great, great, great grandmother creeps up behind him and is like, peekaboo, kiss me.
So this is the part where I cracked up because this guy is literally standing over this woman, right, with his hands up. He's Satan, come to me, and blah 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 blah. And then this little figure comes floating over to him, and he's like, ah! And I'm like,
wait,
you were asking for this.
He's like, did he send you?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. We're good.
Yeah. It was like I was hoping I didn't misdial 1-900 SAT. Santa? Oh no.
No.
Oh no. I'm not getting anything for Christmas.
Movie, unfortunately. Anyway, so at this point, when I did some advertising, if you want to call it that, on Twitter, let everyone know what we're talking about this week. I said vampires, check, satanic cults, check, playmate twins, double check, and Peter effing Cushing fucking check, right?
Yes, right.
I don't think they really knew what they wanted to do with this movie. Most Hammer films, it was either a witch movie or it was a witch hunter movie, which, by the way, there is a witch hunter movie starring Vincent Price that is absolutely hard to watch, because it's so good, but the ending is so bleak. But they decided to tie all this together, and through the you're watching, you're going, I don't know why this works, but it does.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they even have an argument about like the Puritan Peter Cushing and the hunky choir teacher about what's really evil, and it's like, well, everybody knows that, this happens with witches. And he's like, yeah, but vampires are this. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't talk that way. For your sake.
And this is, and Peter Cushing's like, at one point, he's like literally going, oh, yeah, well, if you try to stand in my way again, you're going to be sorry. Or maybe it's your sister that's going to be sorry.
Right.
This is coming from a guy who's been accused through the whole movie of burning females to make himself feel better. And he's now trying to burn this guy's sister. And I'm going, God, I love you, Peter Cushing, but this movie, oh my God.
And it's funny because they're rooting out evil, and they hint. And the funny thing is, the choir teacher calls them on it later, where it's like, you guys are out here trying to root out evil, finding it everywhere, burning women wherever you find women. And yet we all know the count up on the hill in the castle is calling on Satan, Nathan, and you're over here going, well, he knows the emperor. The emperor's a dick.
Down our house.
Well, let's just go find another witch. So I like that they finally get together where, Frieda's been taken. Frieda gets really ballsy and decides, you know what? I'm going to go feed on the Brotherhood while Uncle Gustav's in there, and they catch her, red-handed as such, because the Brotherhood must have been a good man, because he's dead.
No, they did not catch her red-handed.
Red-lipped.
Red-lipped.
Right, red-lipped. And I like how she's, oh my God, a vampire came upon us, and I barely got free. And he's like, the blood's still on your lips.
He's like,
oh, he tried to kiss me.
She should have said, he punched me, or he hit me, or whatever. But no, he tried to kiss me, as the blood's like literally.
And then she's like, drat. Show the teeth. Oh no.
Yeah, they go, hey, take this, and he's like,
yeah, this is where garlic, the sign of the cross, all of these things are weapons to use against the vampire. Everyone knows this, which will come in play later on when they're all like, Bernie, everybody. So they put her in jail and decide that, this whole time Maria has had this connection with Frieda. Feels when this happens, feels something's wrong. I felt something wrong with my neck. It really hurt. Now it doesn't. Now I don't feel anything. All in this transformation into a vampire. And of course, our Count Dickhead Count Karnstein.
Which every time one of the females in the show said his name in the back of my pea little brain back here, it was young Frankenstein, and the horse is going every time
Yep.
they said her name.
And me was Karnstein.
Every time.
Yeah, that's what's fun about this movie is it evokes all of this stuff as you're going through it because of these are the original tropes that that follow through 50 some years later, and
These are the kind of movies that started it all. I mean,
yeah, that's what's fun about it. And like where we turn here, you see it coming. Connerstein decides that he's going to take Maria, go to the jail, do one of those look in my eyes. Jailer's like, what?
Which I love the fact that they didn't even mention this power at all. It just happened. And the way they do it is they show the close up and the light is on his eyes.
Yeah, he's just like, and the guy's like, oh, and he's like, and you're like, oh, he's hypnotizing him.
He's doing the vampire.
Yep. Yeah. They, quick switch girls, switch clothes, and takes Maria, or leaves Maria in the jail, takes away Frieda to be able to feed. Basically, yeah, we're gonna paint the town red.
Well, he goes. You are going to, from this point forward, be Maria, virginal, sweet, loving. Imagine the chaos you can create.
Imagine the chaos.
I was like, that is all. I mean, there are some really good quotes in this movie.
Definitely, definitely.
Quote.
Lots of good ones in here. And of course, Maria just sleeping through the whole thing, has no clue that this shit's happening. Auntie's got it in her head like something's wrong. Yeah. But, and this is where you see finally Gustav Weil is like, it's my niece, like shit. Because the wife makes a very good point where it's like, there should have been more beatings. And he's like, or maybe you beat her to it. Like it's one of those, you didn't beat it out of her, maybe you beat it into her.
Exactly.
Right. And it's kind of that thing. However, she was really open to Satan almost right away. I doubt it was really his fault completely.
Yeah. And not only that, but I also think that it was more of she was looking for anything that would be exciting to her versus just sitting around and crocheting and singing in the choir.
She wasn't looking for love. She was looking for fun.
Excitement.
Exactly. And now she's going to go off and enjoy that. Meanwhile, they're going to burn poor Maria, and she's just kind of like, oh no. Oh no. I'm not Frieda. Yeah. And they can't hear her because they're like, burn her.
Yeah. Burn her. Build a bridge out of her. I'm telling you right now, when I thought this was a really a great religious ploy that they did, because the hunky school teacher is like, show us the cross, see if we flinch,
right?
And they immediately do, and of course Maria's like, she's like, oh God, thank you God, please, she starts praying, and as soon as she does, Peter Cushing's character, Mr. Weil, literally you can see on his face is like, oh, I almost burnt an innocent girl. And finally it hit him going, you know what, maybe some of these girls are innocent.
Yeah, you do see it's funny, the character arc you kind of infer, just because of the overacting, the theatrical portion of it is projecting all of this to you, that he's learning like, oh, I might have chose poorly.
Yeah,
a lot.
I'm not right, and so it was wonderful, and I also love the fact that he gets told earlier in the film, hey, burning these people isn't doing you any good if they're truly vampires. You have to do the stake, you have to do the beheading, you have to do these things. But he wouldn't let go of his own, as he yelled so fervently, burner. He wouldn't let go of the fact that in their mind, the only way to purify the soul was to purify it with fire. Right. So I mean, this whole arc, and this is the part where we all raid the French castle.
Yeah, right, right. Dodge the cows. We build a giant badger,
exactly. We all
We
get
can all get inside, and Lancelot pushes us up to the
and if you do not go away, they will taunt you some more. Um,
right.
I loved it. I love the fact that they stormed the castle and but there was a couple of things that happened during the siege of the castle that made me kind of just go, but that's just writing and so forth. But it comes down to Peter Cushing is now finally they've decided that they're going to take him out and they're one-on-one, right?
Right.
They're fighting. And Peter Cushing gets thrown off the top of the staircase,
He
basically.
catches the axe first, which is
Oh yeah,
where he's like, strike true, strike true, strike true. And he's like, yeah, I will. And then he comes straight down, and you're like, dude, you got to chop his head off. I ain't going to do it vertically. You got to go horizontally. Oh, no wonder he got the axe and put it in your back. Come on, man.
And when Peter Cushing like against the wall, and you see the back, the axe going.
Oh, come on, man. You got to do better than that.
But then he throws him off the top, and it was a fitting end because he did indeed travel the arc, right? And at the end of the movie, he was trying to make
he didn't have any qualms about beheading Freda.
no.
I was just like, oh, we got you. And then I'm going to carry the head and then look at both of them and throw the sword.
And I love the fact that at this point in time, Maria, who earlier could feel that she got bit, right, had no clue that she was decapitated. She's like, I gotta find my sister.
Right, she's somewhere in here. And then Auntie's like, oh my God, I was just behind her. Where did she go?
It's like,
I probably shouldn't have stopped and talked to the choir teacher.
Yeah, I could see the top of her head, and then I couldn't. I don't know where she went.
She's in there. We got to stop her. Well, then go.
Yeah, it was bad. That was again wonderfully delicious.
Yeah,
great
it's
1971
fun
horror, and
absolutely.
And even though I can make fun of it and I can laugh at it, I enjoyed every minute of this movie. I did.
Really?
All right, Chris, where would you rate? How would you rate this movie?
This is a solid classic for me. They're kind of weirdly rated because when you put them up against what we have today, they're completely different movies. I mean, you're looking at theater versus special effects. And that's how it is. It's the special effects of the time was, some glittery dark fluid could get you by with being blood. So, however, Joaquin, when he hits the guy in the face with a torch and you got the burnt out, that was solid makeup effect there.
There was some solid gore in this. Absolutely.
Definitely. So yeah, this hits the marks for me. It really does. It's fun. And then it's also the grandfather to the movies that, we're going to enjoy. I'm going to take the youngest to go see Sinners this weekend, another vampire movie. So, this is 55 years later. This is the movies that are keeping, that we're keeping alive.
Movies like and I'm sorry to interrupt, but it just hit me and I want to get this out.
Yeah.
Before I forget. Movies like Near Dark, movies like Lost Boys, Nosferatu,
30 Days a Night,
30 Days a Night, and they all stood on the shoulders of these Hammer films.
Yes.
Hammer took what Universal did with Dracula and made it fun.
Right.
You can't get over how good Bela Lugosi was as Dracula. You can't.
Right. No.
But if you watch it today, it's hard to watch. It's slow. It's tedious. These movies are an hour and a half. Get you in, get you out, and absolutely entertain the living out of you, and give you the chills at the same time. Even though this movie was made in 1971, there were moments where I was like, I could feel the dread. I could feel
the dread.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
You could feel. I mean, we're in 17th century, Austria, and there's a castle in the background, and there's some squiggly lightning. It's you're in for a good time. It's one of these movies that are kind of timeless, and like I said, it's beautifully shot. They take so much time in the costuming, and the rehearsing in order to project every ounce of emotion to you in the background.
And here's the funny part about it is that and they're filming it, and then maybe at night Hammer's filming another movie and on the exact same set.
Right.
They
Right.
did that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah, this is how they could put out these movies without putting in the Universal money.
Well,
You know.
and not only that, but like the Carmelo trilogy we were talking about,
Mhm.
they what trilogy do you know of was able to be released from beginning to end in 18 months?
Right. Right. I mean, these were
Hammer did.
Hammer
Like,
was putting out movies like it was a thing. Like
mhm,
their catalog is huge because it was something that they did. It was fun. So it's
mhm.
when you're making these things fun. It's fun to film. It's fun to act in. I'm sure it's fun to be a part of. It's fun to watch, and you could keep going back and seeing the next movie. It's
Yep.
a little bit more of the same thing you just watched, a little bit different, or it's got this actress in it or this actor in it. So yeah, this one rated high, going with 1970s October Playmates, the Collinson sisters. Good move. Um,
Oh, absolutely good movie.
Greedo, you're still watching. You won't be disappointed. Very nice. So yeah, I'm going to give this an 8.5. Again, you can watch it by yourself and enjoy it as a horror movie. If you're watching it with friends, it's funny to goof on because of these tropes that we've been seeing for 50 plus years playing out in an older style where, why is Tom Cruise like really overselling this, kind of thing.
Well, because people like Peter Cushing could oversell it and work it, make it
And make
work.
it work. Right. So
I
yeah, this is a solid 8.5 movie for me. Fun. It's classic Hammer, man. Classic Hammer. Good visceral and a decent story in there, and not your average Universal monster.
Nope, not at all. I love the fact that they would use multiple teeth positionings on the same actor in the same
Mhm.
scene. So
Right.
when you see her with her, I guess, and she's actually using her tongue to hold the bridge in place.
Right. Right.
And if you're watching close, you'll see that kind of thing. But you're looking at that and you accept it because the movie is 54 years old and it still works.
Right.
That's what's amazing to me. I've had people say, to me that who are Hammer film fans, as I am. They're like, "Oh, Twins of Evil is not one of my favorites. It's my least favorite of the trilogy." Blah blah. And I'm going, "You're out of your mind. There's something
It's,
special
yeah.
about this
This is
movie."
one of the best. I would say this is the best out of the trilogy.
I agree.
It's meant to be a prequel
Hmm.
to it all, but yeah, I hands down the other movies have their place. And there was
Absolutely.
firsts in them, and I'm sure it's hilarious what they put the censors through back in 1970 because how many times things were just like, nope.
Yeah. So here's what they did. I love this about Hammer.
Hmm.
They would send them the proof in black and white
Right.
so that everything would pass, and then they release it in color. I was
Right. And
like,
you're like,
"That's amazing."
oh, now you can see it.
"Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't realize." Yeah, you do see the nipple there on that, don't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you do.
You know, um, um, so yeah, so I'm with you. 8.5 easy. If this were, um, it was funny. I was thinking about this today in the world of um, classic remakes. I think this one would be a movie that you could remake today if you paid attention and you could do it right.
Mhm.
Maybe not have all three scenarios in there, but no, this is. But you know what though, the vampirism through satanic worship is kind of a
Well,
neat.
that's the connecting thing that they did. This is all evil, and it's evil, and evil is making deals with the devil, and
Yep.
witches are making deals with the devil, and vampires are making deals with the devil. So that's where they do blend well in
I
this one because of how they explain it like that.
I agree. So let's see. Oh, here's going to be a hard one for us, Ben.
Here's an interesting one.
Yeah, where are we going to put this on the list? Is my question. Because
Interesting.
again, we're looking at it's a different time frame and it's a different era, but we also tell us our shit list is sometimes hilarious and intentionally tasteless, is actually there for the fun of watching. Which one of these movies is more fun? And I'm thinking that this one is a lot more fun than some of the other ones, you know?
I'm with you on that one. It's very fun, and like I said, just myself giggling over some of the the jokes you can make into this. A lot of Monty Python get-ups, a lot of
Absolutely.
young Frankenstein quotes you could throw in there. You could just really throw back some of their own quotes from the movie and kind of laugh at
And,
how they're thrown out there. Just
and again, there's some great quotes in this movie. There really
yeah.
is. All right, so we're on movie number 66. Chris.
66.
66. Would you say this movie is as fun or more fun than Willy's Wonderland?
That's where I started. Yeah, you know what? It's right there, pretty damn close. I think it's better than that.
Okay. Do you think it's better than Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
Well,
can keep going.
here's where we get harder.
Here's
Is
the
it
hard part.
Sharknado and or Frankenhooker?
It's a good question.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. Is it more fun? Right? Because I can tell you right now, it is better than most of these as far as you if you look at time frame and filming and everything involved.
87-minute runtime.
Right.
Yeah, you've got
But is
some
it
beautiful
more
women.
fun?
This is fun, and the more I think this is like watching it is fun, and then you can put it on and watch it with a friend the next day and laugh about it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I'd say yeah, we're say we can keep moving. Ahead of Sharknado, as to some people's chagrin.
I'm thinking right in this area somewhere.
Yeah, it's hard to put it anywhere. I mean, we have another good classic pushing back into the 80s with Prince of Darkness.
Yep.
Maximum Overdrive. These are key movies when it comes to horror and the genre itself. So going above Frankenhooker and Odd Thomas. Odd Thomas has such a special place in my heart because of the books that I couldn't put it ahead of that. I think we're actually pretty good right there with Black Sheep.
You are too. And I'll be honest with you, and this goes out to you know who. If number 36 was number 2, Sharknado 2, then it would go right in front of this one.
Maybe at some point we'll add number 2 to the wheel. And we'll give her a spin, and LG can maybe relive some glory of the Sharknado days, and we can rank number 2. But the first one, I think we're better than the first one. We're right there, right around the Frankenhooker mark is good for me. It's a solid movie. It really is. Yeah.
And like you said, you can watch it as a horror film and enjoy it, or you could watch it with friends and spoof on it and enjoy it just as well. I agree. Are we going to lock it in?
Let's lock it in.
Let's lock it in. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh boy, here we go. Now comes the other fun one. I don't know if we're ready for this or not, but we're going to try to get it here real quick. We are, as we did have been doing or been talking about, we're wanting to start sharing our movie picks with you, and the way we found to do that, the best way we found to do that is to actually spin the wheel of death and see if we can't get these movies.
Yeah, we've been busy adding lots of movies to this wheel. There's tons more that aren't on the wheel, but this is what we've got so far. So,
we did spin for Midsommar, and we're going to decide to wait on it.
Yep.
And there's a reason we're waiting on that. We're waiting to hear word on whether.
Yeah, there's some hot sheets being floated around. Once we know and confirm, we'll readdress the Midsommar.
Yeah, because they're talking like it might just be a what's the word I'm looking for? It might just be there might be a sequel coming out for that. So we want to hold off on that for just a little bit until we find out. All right, are you ready, sir?
Let's do it. Spin the wheel. Put me on the wheel.
Sinister.
Next
week we will be watching Sinister. All right, now let's real quick look. Let's see where that's streaming, so we can let everyone know so they can watch it with us.
Yep, I'm bringing it up here. Where can you watch it? You can watch that rentable on Amazon and Fandango. It's a Prime movie.
Yep.
You can watch it on Amazon. Probably rent it. Starring Ethan Hawke.
Yep. Good one.
2012. Sinister.
It's a good one. So we will be watching Sinister for, next week,
Cool.
and then we'll let you know where we're standing on that.
Sounds good.
Great time. Thank you so much for allowing me to pick this classic Hammer film, share something that was important to me from my childhood with you and with the Talking Dead. And if you happen to be listening at this podcast or watching on one of the other platforms, please feel free to join us here on YouTube when we go live. We'd love to have you in the chat room. We'd love to watch our chat and the Talking Dead, who they're really good with people. They're good with each other. They talk to each other. They support each other. They support us, and we just love for you to be a part of that community. There's no charge to be a member of the Talking Dead. You just come and be with us.
Right. Don't be alarmed if they nibble on you.
Yeah,
it's a friendly nibble.
Yeah, they don't bite. They just kind of pick an earlobe and kind of it actually feels kind of nice. So be sure to hit that sub button slash the like button, and if you would ring that bell or toll that bell to know when we're going live. That way you don't miss any content. Chris, is there anything you'd like to say tonight before we sign off, sir?
No, I'm just, you know what? I'm looking forward to this weekend. I was talking earlier, taking my youngest out. We're going to do a double feature and catch out Final Destination Bloodlines for a matinee, followed by the new movie Sinners, which everyone I have spoken to said you need to see this in the theater while it's still in the theater. It is so worth it. So we're doing it. LG is being the wonderful person she is and covering me on a day off so I can take the kid out and we will go watch movies all day.
I am planning on trying to get out to see both of those movies, hopefully early sometime this week while I'm off work. Now, next Thursday, you know what? We can't be live next Thursday.
Okay.
We're gonna have to take a week off. We'll do Sinister the following week. I just realized I am going to be in Tennessee next Thursday, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to have Wi-Fi connection.
Okay.
We may
2 weeks.
So maybe 2 weeks. We'll let you know if we have Wi-Fi connection. I might take my laptop. We'll just do a stripped down version, but we'll see.
Cool. Well, in the meantime, I'm gonna kind of post some quick reviews, maybe some befores and afters, and some video footage of the theater this weekend. I'll give you a quick recap, no spoiler recaps. On the socials, which you can find us by going to bio.link/graverev. LG will probably be kind enough to put it in the chat very soon. And that you can catch us on all of our links. Hey, we're going to be sending out some swag packs soon for our winners. I put it together. That'll try to get into the mail tomorrow if I can get to the post office in time. We've got stickers.
Yes, we do.
But we got some merch. But yes, you can go on to our bio link. It's right there in the chat. And you can check us out on Instagram. You can check us out on X. You can check us out on Facebook, TikTok, all of the socials, Twitch. You find something funny, you can clip it for us. Do us a favor. When the show is over, or if you hadn't done listening, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the movie. We are always open to everyone's opinions on the movie. It's a good thing about the horror community. Like it or not, we kind of want to know what you think. And if you're not comfortable saying it in a comment, you can DM us on all of those socials, or you can click on the email and send us an email about your thoughts on movies you think should make it on the wheel, things that we should cover, things that you'd like to talk about yourself. And reach out to us. And we'll see you in 2 weeks on Thursday Night Frights. Stay spooky, friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate you so much. Be sure to hit all those likes, comments, subscribes, bells, whistles, and light the pyre, right? Light the pyre and burn the witch. But before you do that, remember that, as we always like to say here on Grave Reviews, Thursday Night Frights, ladies and gentlemen, may all of your nightmares be groovy. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night.